Hi, and welcome to Mental Health Monday and the third day of Vlogmas. You're catching me real early in the morning. This is my first cup of coffee today. I had to get up early before my son got up so I could record this for you. Days that I post just music videos and things like that are usually days when I didn't have an opportunity to get a good recording. My son is a very happy boy, and he makes a lot of noise. And I like to spend my time with him when he's awake and in the house. I'm going to share with you this morning 5 tips for not just how I get through the holidays, but how I manage my anxiety and my depression throughout the year. Those aren't unique to the holiday season, but they can become worse in the holiday season. I've found if I set these things in place before the holidays come, then I'm less likely to have trouble with my illnesses. The first one is be realistic about your budget. Be realistic about your income. I don't shop retail. I can't tell you the last time I actually went into one of the big retail stores or went online to a merchandise retailer to buy items. They just cost too much. They cost more money than I have. And our budget's so tight that I'm at the point that, it's choosing between paying a bill or buying a Christmas gift or buying groceries and food for my son and I, or buying Christmas presents for other people. I'm sorry, that's a no contest. And I refuse to go into debt over buying gifts for other people either. My adult children are adults and they understand. They're just as broke as I am. And we've always agreed as a family that it was kind of frivolous to go overboard buying a bunch of stuff at one time of the year. We spread our gifts out throughout the year. I may not get a gift on Mother's Day, but I will get a Mother's Day gift. It might be in August. It might be in January. I will get a Christmas gift. It might be in March. Coming up this year, my Christmas gift for my kids is going to see a Broadway show. A show that was on Broadway. It's not going to be on Broadway. It's going to be local, but going to see a theater production in March. But that's my Christmas gift. So consider a few things when you're looking at your budget and you're looking at the gifts you have to give. First off, your time is worth more than anything you could purchase. How much is your time worth? If you were getting paid to do what you're doing, how much would you want to be paid? Consider gifts that you make by hand, things that you make or create. Consider those as very worthy gifts, and don't be ashamed of them. Get a picture frame from the Dollar Tree and glue some pretty shells on it, and put a picture inside of your child, your grandparents, an old picture of the family from years ago, and give that as a gift. Give keepsakes. Give things that mean something. Also, thrift store shopping. I can't tell you the last time I went in a big box store and bought clothing retail. I buy all of my clothing at the thrift store. I can't see paying more than $10 for a shirt. I can't pay more than $10 for a shirt. That's about all my budget allows. Also, in our family, the story behind the presents is sometimes worth more than the actual gift. I remember one Christmas I opened the gift from my daughter, and it was, I can't remember what it was, but it might have been disappointing had I just received that. I looked at it as a little bedraggled, a little used and worn. And she said, "Wait a minute, Mom, there's a story behind this." So I was blah, 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 and she tells the whole story of how she found this gift in a thrift store, in a section it wasn't even supposed to be in, and why she bought it for me and things like that. And the stories become the gifts. the experiences and the sharing of the family communicating with each other, those become the gifts. So the first trick is be very realistic with your budget. You didn't have an extra $100 last month, and you don't have an extra $100 this month. Don't go in debt. Spend only cash, and consider the things you could make by hand. I've got a few videos up on inexpensive things you can make out of recycled things. Do a search on YouTube, recycled DIY gifts, and see what comes up. And don't be afraid of your own creativity. I promise you, your time is worth more to your family and friends than anything you could just order off of Amazon or, buy at the mall or whatever. The second tip is avoid overdoing and overindulgence. I've found that I have to limit my intake of food, of alcohol, because I tend to overeat and I can overdrink. And it's not that I have to quit drinking during the holidays, but I have to understand that, when I have alcohol, for one, at my age, the next morning isn't fun if I overindulge in alcohol. And with my son, I can't afford to have a sick day. I can't afford to wake up feeling hungover and sick. And but the second part of that is when you do things that mess with your blood sugar and you suffer from depression or anxiety, it can make the depression worse the next day. Now, we all know about the Christmas party with the person who gets really wild and crazy, drinks too much at the Christmas party, puts on greatest show. I'm not talking about photocopying your butt. Or making a pass at your boss. I'm talking about the next day when you wake up and you honestly feel you are in pain, your head hurts, your eyes are blurry, and you can take all the cold medicine you want and everything, but it doesn't ease up, and you just want to sleep, but you can't sleep because you feel sick. But also the psychological effects of the next day after drinking. Think about it. If you're one of those people that overindulges and maybe lets it get out of control a little bit, the next day that maybe the headache's not so bad, but you just feel off and sad. I know with me, it's a 2 or 3 day thing that it will send me into a depression, a really bad depression. And it's not while I'm drinking or immediately after. This can take 2 or 3 days, and it can put me down. It can mess me up for a week sometimes. So, and I've had to stop drinking wine because I have a sulfite allergy, I found out, and wine has sulfites in it, and that can affect you negatively. The alcohols, do some research and find out which alcohols have the higher sugar content. We all have our little thing that, this alcohol makes me this way, and this alcohol makes me. Pay a little more attention to that, because it has to do with the sugar content in the alcohol, as well as your mood when you're drinking. But anyway, and for food, don't overindulge in food. Don't overeat. Don't stuff your feelings down with your food. Prioritize and delegate. I told the story a couple of vlogs ago about one of my kids. We had birthday dinner here at the house, and I decided to make it easy. I ordered Uber Eats, and they delivered the food. And when it came time for everybody to go back where they were, I'm the only driver in the family right now. My oldest doesn't have a car, and my other one, neither one of them have licenses, so I'm the only one who can drive. So 11 o'clock at night, I don't want to wrap the boy up and drive all over town. I called Uber cars. Yeah, it was $12, but because I'm watching my budget, I had the $12. I had set it aside and said, okay, I can skimp on this little luxury this month. I have $12, and it's worth it to me. The peace of mind and my sanity, and it's worth it to me to spend that $12 on an Uber instead of spending it on something that may not have been that good for me. And that way I didn't have to go out and drive. So, family visits. Does your family, 8 hours away, expect you to show up for the holidays? Do you really want to go? Perhaps you could Skype with them. Perhaps you could do a phone call and just explain, hey, guys, money's kind of tight this year, and the gas to get out there and driving and everything else, it's not going to happen, Don't lie, don't make up stories, be honest, and just say, hey, I don't have any way to get there. If they offer you a plane ticket, well, then you got to consider, do you still want to go? And how long do you want to stay? It's you're talking about. Set your boundaries and be strong. Live by your responsibilities, not your expectations. And your first responsibility is to yourself. The fourth thing is dealing with the loneliness, the loss, and the seasonal affective disorder. I know about loneliness and loss. I lost both my parents back in 2002. I lost my husband in 2009. I'm estranged from my late husband's family. I'm estranged from my first husband and my first husband's family. I'm estranged from my brothers. It's just not a good thing for us to be around each other. And so it's just me and my kids. And the holidays are really, really hard. I lost my grandparents back in the late 90s. But growing up, we never really had a lot of traditions. So it's not that difficult for me. We were kind of a non-traditional family. What I do when I start feeling sad and I start missing people that aren't around, whether they're alive or they've passed on, ex-relationship partners, things like that. Even though I know it's the best thing for me to not be around them and for them to not be in my life, it's still hard. I still think about them, family and friends. I try not to sugarcoat the past. I don't dwell in it. I don't live in it. Don't spend your days thinking of the memories. But when the sadness comes up, remind yourself that it wasn't as happy as you're remembering it. We tend to sugarcoat the past and think, oh, the good old days and how wonderful it was. Actually, it's pretty wonderful right now because you have freedom. You have freedom to create the traditions you want. You have the freedom to create the holidays you want for you. And yeah, we miss people. You're gonna miss people, but that's the way life goes. People are born and people die, and some of us get to have people around us for a long time, and some of us don't. So don't get bogged down in the holidays. Again, here we go about expectations and responsibilities. Don't buy into a Hallmark Christmas. Don't buy into the expectations of what you see on TV, what you see in the movies, what you see in the advertisements. That's just one person's picture of what the holidays are supposed to be. That's not the be-all, end-all authority on what the holidays are supposed to be. You create the holidays. And the fifth tip I have, and I stopped doing this, I want to say about 15 years ago. No New Year's resolutions. Don't make New Year's resolutions. The time to make major life changes in habits, in ways of thinking, that is better done. It's better done in a less stressful time of year. You put too much pressure on yourself from New Year's resolutions. Not even small ones. Why don't you give the year a couple weeks and say that, okay, if you have to make a New Year's resolution, make a New Year's resolution that you will be sensible about New Year's resolutions. And spend January thinking about what you really want to change about yourself. Do you want to quit smoking? Okay, instead of just putting down the cigarettes and going cold turkey, or buying into slapping a patch on your arm, why don't you look into the reasons why you smoke cigarettes? And maybe some counseling or some therapy to help you deal with the reasons you smoke the cigarettes. Do you want to stop drinking alcohol? Same thing. Instead of dealing with the symptom, deal with the real problem. Go find a counselor, a therapist, and find out why you need a drink to deal with your family. I assure you, the issue is not the alcohol. The alcohol's not the bad guy. If you want to, whatever habits you want to get rid of, we do these things for a reason. My son's occupational therapist showed me a trick, and it opened my eyes to why we get addicted to the things we do. She said that there is a sort of a sensor to the brain on the roof of the mouth. And if you stroke that, it releases endorphins in your brain that help you feel calmed and loved. And I got to thinking about it, and it's true. And if you think about when a baby breastfeeds or drinks from a bottle, the tongue curls on the roof of the mouth, and it can bring those feelings of mothering and warmness and security. As we get older, we're told you can't suck your thumb. That's bad, that's nasty, and pacifiers and things like that. So we do other things that will give us that feeling. So smoking cigarettes, it's an oral fixation, and it's not the nicotine, it's the sensation of smoking for a lot of people. So no New Year's resolutions. Look at your habits in January, and you'll feel better in January because you haven't used your credit cards, you haven't spent money you didn't have. So you won't have any extra bills due in January. You know the bills that are coming in January. So you'll have more time to work on yourself. Oh, and last, and a lot of people laugh about this, but it is so true. Go to the store and invest in an all spectrum light, even if all you can buy is the light bulb. All spectrum light. In the wintertime, especially where I live, the sun sets around 4:30 in the afternoon, and it doesn't come up until like 7 or 8 in the morning in the wintertime. And then the sky is gray and cloudy. We don't have a lot of snow, but we have a lot of fog because it is a coastal town. And so the lack of sunlight really does play a lot. Vitamin D deficiency, depression, you want to sleep all the time. So go to the store and invest in an all spectrum light. You will benefit, even if you just, like I said, get the light bulb and put it in one of your lamps in your room or in your kitchen. I hope I haven't rambled too much. Like I said, I'm pre-coffee. Here's my coffee. I'm gonna take a sip. Because my son is home on the weekends, and I didn't have time to record this last week, but and we're gonna see how this goes with the 25 days of Vlogmas. I was a little worried about it because I like to overextend myself quite a bit, but I've been doing 5 blogs a week, or 5 videos a week for all of November. So I think I can do this for Vlogmas. Some of the videos you get are going to be like yesterday and the day before. You're going to get music videos. You're going to get my regular 5 days a week, Mental Health Monday, Tarot Tuesday, What's Cooking Wednesday, Artful Thursday, and then Music Friday. And anyway, be kind to yourself this holiday season. And yeah, be kind to yourself. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.